storm, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So we're in a time where everything in the film industry is kind of slowing down, but the rumor mill for The Mandalorian is definitely heating up. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How are you doing?
Not bad. Not bad. It makes sense with The Mandalorian, right? They finished shooting and everything before all this hit.
Yep. So
being in post-production, there's probably a lot they can do with, maintaining separation with people, right?
Absolutely. I would have to say that a lot of the guys who do all this post-production work have all this the full Adobe suite at home on there and then can send files back and forth. So yeah.
And I gotta say, I mean, we're gonna save all this because once we go down this road, it's gonna be hard to stop. There's going to be a lot of speculation, things like that. So we're going to save a lot of this for later on in the show. But I'll tell you, with all the people that are coming up as having been involved in season 2, they did a really good job of filming all this in secret. Because
yeah, it's true.
Because there's a lot of people supposedly involved, and none of it's confirmed. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we would be remiss if we did not mention that May 14th was George Lucas's 76th birthday.
Excellent.
So we have to say happy birthday to the maker.
Yes. Happy birthday, George.
Without him, we wouldn't be talking about The Mandalorian or Obi-Wan or any of this stuff.
Exactly.
So we hope he had a fantastic day, as best a day as he could have.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's taking it all in stride. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff we had about him and Melody.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's taking it all in stride.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could be in a bunker getting shelled, right?
Yeah, right. Yep.
It's obviously better than that.
Yes, for sure.
And so Mark Hamill just continues to pop up.
Yep.
Even though this time he's popping up, he's saying, this tweet was, May the 9th be a bittersweet episode. Knowing it was the last time I'd ever play Luke. And then he hashtagged it, bye-bye Skywalker.
Yeah, wow.
So, to all them hopes that Mark would come back to reprise his role as Luke, wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, this is one thing that I personally, maybe there's nothing in the works, okay? Maybe no one's talked to him. Maybe it's all misdirection. Personally, I would love to see an animated series done after Return of the Jedi. And Hamill could voice that. Something like that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, and let's be specific here, though.
Okay.
They're saying his time in Star Wars portraying Luke Skywalker is over.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's a very talented voice actor.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark Hamill's time in Star Wars is done. Maybe his time as Luke is done. But I would venture to say we're probably going to hear from Mark Hamill again.
Okay.
Somewhere down the road, voicing whether it's a costume character or something in a film later on.
Sure.
I mean, how many characters did he voice in the 3 sequel films?
I can't say for sure. I think it's at least 2 per film, isn't it? Something like that. But I am talking about him voicing Luke, though.
Right.
Which that's all just my hopes and dreams right there. I and my own speculation, but that's something that I would love to see happen, because that would, with the technology they have, I could totally see them doing that, a series about the OT characters after Return of the Jedi. I mean, think about it. If you had Mark Hamill voicing Luke, and let's say David Collins voicing Han, and even someone like Kat Tabor voicing Leia, that could work.
Yeah, that could work.
And Anthony Daniels would come back to do 3PO. Just the voice? Heck yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he would let anyone else play 3PO.
Exactly. Yeah. He's probably got that written into contracts. You ask me first.
Yeah. So Mark sat down with Entertainment Weekly, and he was asked whether or not he considered playing in the Star Wars universe again if the situation was right. He says, "Oh, I can't imagine that. No. I had a beginning, middle, and end. Those films gave me far more than I ever expected when we started out, so it never occurred to me. My farewell was in episode 9, and it was bittersweet. I love all those people, and I certainly have affection for George and the character he created. I'm full of gratitude for what it has given me and my career, but I don't want to be greedy. There are still so many more stories to tell and so many great actors to tell them. They don't need me."
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we do.
That's where I'm at. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, so I'm of the opinion that, do we need Luke Skywalker stories going forward? No.
Right.
We don't need it.
It's not a necessity.
Yeah. Would we like to see some? Sure.
Yes.
But we don't need it.
Right.
What we do like is the people who play in this universe, we always like them to come back.
Absolutely.
Especially, people like Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Anthony Daniels. You were there at the beginning.
Yeah.
So anytime you show up is a great moment for us. Like, remember how excited we were when he was voicing Darth Bane?
Oh, yeah.
In the Clone Wars?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, look at that. Your time doesn't have to be done with Star Wars.
Right. Exactly. I'm still going to hold out hope for my thing there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible.
Right. Something animated, because clearly we can't reverse time, right? And have the original characters played by the original actors. But, I
don't know. There was a scene with Luke and Leia that looked pretty damn good.
Well, yeah. Okay. but I have to say, to do that all the time, that might get a little pricey. So, speaking of pricey, right? In this same article, he does talk about that. He said, "I think they have a wonderful advantage on the Mandalorian in that it's economical storytelling. They don't have the burden of delivering a gigantic special effects extravaganza like the films had to do. It sort of gets back to the basics of George envisioning it as a Western in space. It has that tone of a Sergio Leone Western. I'm very impressed with it, and to me, a very smart move on their part because you can't keep trying to top. It's like the superhero movies that have to deliver these gargantuan epics. And with The Mandalorian, they can concentrate more on the characters and the storytelling. I think it's excellent." Very true statement.
So he's still watching Star Wars.
Absolutely he is. But I think we could all agree, what he's saying.
I mean, we've talked about this a lot over the past couple years, really.
Yeah.
And The Mandalorian has a distinct advantage here because they have to stretch the dollar, right?
Absolutely.
So they have to be creative and come up with things to make their vision work.
Yes.
They're not letting things like financial restrictions and equipment restrictions affect their storytelling. They have a vision. They want to do it. They're going to figure out how. That's what George did.
Exactly. That is the thing. I've said it before. That is when Star Wars is hitting on all cylinders. Storytelling is number one. But when you're telling good stories and innovating technologically, that is when it is out there in the forefront. That is something I think that has been a little bit lacking from Star Wars years of late. But with The Mandalorian, that is like, it's allowing them to do what they wanted to do in an episodic fashion.
Well, I think it creates a very different thing when you take that idea of innovating to make your vision come true and coming up with new ideas to make something look great and look look great, right?
Yeah.
Then when you're trying to task your mind to create something that looks like it did in 1977, when you're making a film in 2019 and you're really stretching yourself to try and make it look nostalgic and authentic to the universe in 1977, it's like, why are you focusing so much effort on going backwards?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're taking that innovative idea, the idea of innovation and applying it to making it look old.
Okay. Are you referencing The Mandalorian here?
No. The sequels.
Okay.
So the sequels, they did so much to try and make it look old. Make it look like A New Hope.
I see where you're coming from to a degree with that, yeah. I think there's got to be some of that, right? I think you can see some of that in The Mandalorian, but how do you put it? Because you have the leftover stuff, right? The dirty stormtroopers, the helmets on pikes, things like that kind of stuff going on with The Mandalorian. That kind of takes you back, but then you also have the sound stage that they're shooting on is a technological innovation, so that they can actually do this stuff and keep doing it moving forward. It's I don't know.
I think there's a difference between trying to focus your efforts on making something look like it's in the Star Wars universe than trying to make it look like it's 1977.
Okay.
Like the idea of, we're going to shoot this stuff on film because it gives you this certain look.
Yeah, that.
As opposed to digital, it's like, why?
Yeah. Hey, who's the first guy to shoot on digital? Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the idea behind that other than try and make this nostalgic, feel?
Right.
That's not what we're looking for here.
No.
I mean, yes, there are some out there who really want to see that. But I think for the most part, Star Wars fans are okay with, moving stuff into the future.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, we want it to look and feel like Star Wars. But the look and feel of Star Wars is more about the universe than it is about how grainy the film looks.
Yeah. Yes. So that's part of what you're getting at then, I guess, is so much of the talk they're having in like the ramp up to some of the prequel or sequel movies. There's all the practical effects that they're doing. There's so many practical effects and stuff. It's like, it's not going to be all digital, which I can appreciate to a degree, but you do have this other technology you can use along with those practical effects, right? I mean, right. And it's going to be really good. So, I don't want it to end up looking like a you know, like an Avengers movie or something, but you know,
let's look at the Clone Wars, right? Let's look at the success of the Clone Wars.
uh-huh.
How many practical effects did they use in the Clone Wars?
Well, it's a cartoon, Joe.
See where I'm going here?
Yeah, I get it.
It's about the storytelling. It's not about the practical effects
Yeah.
or shooting it on film or doing this. The Mandalorian is doing this stuff because they have to.
Yep.
You know, there's a budget here.
Yes. And it's working out really well.
And don't get me wrong, some of that stuff's just going to look better for the Star Wars universe if you do use practical effects.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there are certain things that practical effects are just the way to go. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
But doing it to try and make it look old is just, it's asinine in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like there was too much focus on that, and not enough focus on making sure you had a story that was the same for 3 parts. That felt like it was the same story,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of concern there, right?
They didn't give a damn about that. I mean, a lot of stuff looked great.
Yeah.
And even with the efforts that they made, they still made a good looking product.
Yep, for sure.
But I think the energy, the directed energy was misdirected.
Yeah. I could agree with that.
Story first.
Yes. You know, it's funny because, you know, talk about these things not having, you know, because a cohesive story, not being, you know, the kind of detached from things a little bit. There's a article where, let's see, this is, hold on. Okay. This article with nofilmschool.com. And the VFX supervisor, Rob Legato, was talking with them about the technology they're using in The Mandalorian, right? And he says, as much as it's great to be in the same room with people, sometimes you don't need to be. Okay, this kind of falls right in with what's going on, you know, today, and how you talked about The Mandalorian just finishing up, and then it's still going to hit in October because everyone can kind of do things while being apart from each other. But it might be even more granular than that. He says, I have a setup in my basement similar to The Lion King with a dolly, handheld camera, pan, and tilt wheels using the Unreal game engine with an operator on Google Meet. Yeah. So he says, Legato is currently working with an unnamed director on a huge pitch involving a ton of visuals. In order to meet the goals he set for himself prior to the pandemic, he has found a way to continue to work from home. So Legato operates the camera, filming a car chase with characters he animated on a virtual location. It's going to be based on real locations, he says, and it's going to look photoreal, and some bits and pieces as you construct the sequence will have a video wall setup. Very similar to what they're using in Mandalorian, apparently. So the way I take all that to mean is that if necessary, like if they actually had to do like some pickups and stuff for the Mandalorian, they could probably pull this off. Like,
Yeah.
without all the actors having to get together, so to speak. You might have like 2 or 3 people involved in getting a shot, you know, as opposed to having to have a whole crew around, which is unbelievable when you think about it. But, you know, that's the kind of technological stuff that, you know, they're using and are still able to bring us the story, you know. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this works great for those shots that you don't need the character to actually interact with said environment.
Yes.
You know, when you really only need the backdrop.
Yes, exactly.
And they can film it to where it looks like they're actually there.
Yep. Yeah. For I would imagine that for any dialogue heavy shot, they could do this. You know, you have fight sequences and things like that. You probably got to have someone else, you know, there you're interacting with. But I don't know. It's definitely going to change the way television and probably in a lot of ways movies are made moving forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you can do a lot of this stuff without expensive trips to said place, it's probably the better way to go.
Yeah.
Especially since we don't know what the fate of the movie theaters and stuff is going to be after this.
Yeah. That does seem like it's kind of like in limbo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're going to try and get things back to quote unquote normal, but that's going to take time. And, you know, if they have to operate on like a shoestring budget for, you know, months on end moving down the road, it's going to be rough on them.
And it's going to it's going to create even more, what's the word? I just lost the word. Innovation.
Oh, right.
Moving forward, because they're going to have to get innovative.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to have a $200 million budget for a film.
Right.
If it's going to go right to Netflix.
Exactly. Yeah. If that's the model we've been talking about, that's probably what's going to be phasing in over time. But I was thinking maybe a 10, 15 year timeline. You know, if we start losing movie theater chains here, this might be happening sooner than we think. And you're right. They can't spend, you know, that kind of money to have something just hit a streaming service. So, because you're not going to have those ticket sales. You're not going to have those opening weekends.
I can't help but think that Disney's driving this a little bit too, because of the success of things like The Mandalorian and the fever pitch about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You know, you look at these, The Mandalorian could easily be a big screen film.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
But obviously there would be limitations to the story there, because you can only tell so much story in, 2 hours.
Right.
But the success of The Mandalorian and the already presumed success of what Obi-Wan's going to do has got to be getting everybody kind of going, well, maybe the feature film model isn't the way to go.
Right.
I mean, obviously you're going to have feature films for certain things, but I think that market's going to be a little less flooded going forward.
Yeah.
You're not going to see 3-4 movies coming out a week.
I agree with that. And I gotta say, it's almost, from my standpoint, it's almost a welcome change. I think you might see, like the giant blockbusters have longer runs in theaters, and, you might even see the other ones have longer runs in theaters, because we do have these mega theaters now where we didn't before. A theater used to be 3 or 4 screens. Now it's 20. So, it's hard to say.
I think that'll be the thing to go.
The large ones?
Yep.
It could be. It could be.
I think you're going to see more of like, around here we have Imagine, right?
Yep.
And Imagine is more centered around, like, you got your recliners, and you got a bar.
Yep.
Things like that. And it's a smaller crowd.
Yeah.
For each screening.
Yeah.
That's what I think you're going to see everything move towards.
Yeah. Well, we kind of hit on this a little bit, didn't we, before? Because we talked about this likening to like a night out at a live musical or something, moving forward. It might become a bigger deal to go to the theater.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think that's a welcome change. If only for the quality of storytelling that we'll get, because right now I think this mindset of having to pump as much material out as they can,
right,
to keep butts in the seats at the theaters,
right.
I think that mindset's going to change, because and it's welcome, because I don't need to see another Blade Runner. I don't need to see another reboot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time for more original stories.
Original, innovative, epic. The storytelling itself has to become a bigger deal, right? I mean, because you're absolutely right. You hit it when you said flooded with movies, right? 3-4 movies a week coming out. Yeah, that makes a film almost a commodity, to where it's like, yeah, we'll go see a movie, but if we don't like it, whatever, and we'll just go again next week. Maybe it'll be better. You can't have that kind of attitude anymore. You got to be selective in what you go see, because
right.
I'm sure it'll cost more, and hopefully the studios are more selective in the content that they're going to produce.
Right. I mean, because you look at it, it's like, I understand remaking a movie that was made 40 years ago.
Sure.
Right. I understand that. I don't understand some of these movies that they've remade that have been remade after a decade or less.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That
I mean, if the first one sucked, what is the reason for me to go see the new one?
Yeah, I like that. It's a good point, though.
So there's a lot of attempts at redoing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, hopefully in the near future, they'll be able to start to open things back up again, and we'll get kind of an indicator as to how things are going to go. Because you have one, everyone trying to stay safe out in public. So you're going to have, you're probably going to be able to do a third of the capacity in a theater that you would normally do. And, there's going to be the apprehension of the public. You got to consider, how many people are going to want to go out and put themselves in those situations. And you might have people that feel that way. You're going to have people that are, chomping at the bit to get out there. So
I think once restrictions are lifted completely, which we're a long way off from.
Yeah.
But I think once we reach that point, you will see a huge resurgence in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Just because people want to get out and do it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think the long term is going to be stuff like Disney is doing with The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan.
Right.
You can tell quality stories on a week-to-week basis. This is much more alluring to us in this format because, hell, who likes commercials?
Exactly. Yes. I gotta say, when it comes to stuff I like, right? Here we are, we do this show, okay? So my bias aside, consider my bias. But when it comes to stuff I like, of all the streaming services that I am subscribed to, I think Disney Plus takes the cake. I mean, it's got Star Wars, and I'm there.
Right.
So,
but their format is working.
That is for sure.
As well.
That is for sure.
Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsandMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsandMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com.
All right, so it's time to unpack all the announcements we got for The Mandalorian. Well, I should say, not announcements, rumors.
Yeah, big difference.
Big difference. Big difference. No one associated with the project has said anything. All these articles say sources.
Yes. I want to meet this sources person.
Yeah. Mr. Sources sure has a lot of answers.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I really don't like that in reporting.
I agree, but
Sources.
it is the world we live in today.
I mean, you could just put sources behind something and then just make up whatever bullshit you want to put on there.
That is true.
And people be like, hey, he had sources. He didn't
Right.
name them, but it says sources.
I'd like it better if it was sorcerers. That'd be
Yeah, I can see that.
sorcerers say. Well, they probably got a crystal ball. They can see the future. I don't know.
And sorcerers are shifty, man. So they might be feeding you a line,
Yeah, right.
but then again, they might be telling you the truth or be masking the truth with some shifty stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's something to this sorcerers thing. I think if we ever decide to write some articles, that's how we're going to lead it off.
I like
Sorcerers say.
it. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, because I mean that would be about as serious as us writing articles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm no writer.
right.
But I guess we'll go chronologically here. So we all know about the Rosario Dawson alleged involvement by this point.
Right.
The next one up was Tim Morrison.
Yes.
Sources say that Tim Morrison is going to be playing Boba Fett in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Right. So, I have also heard Rex.
Rex would be like 90.
Yeah, well,
If you consider the sped up growth and all that, the aging.
yeah. But I mean, we have him in Rebels, right? So you figure
Right.
this has got to be about, I don't know, 12, 15 years after that. So, and I don't know if it's official, but I think Dave Filoni likes to think that, the guy with the white beard on Endor in Return of the Jedi is Rex. So,
Not official.
Right.
But even if that were so, okay, so you're talking what? Another 5 years? Something like that?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, he would be like 90 on his scale.
Okay.
So I don't feel like he'd be doing too much.
It's possible. So, probably most likely Boba Fett then.
That would be my guess. That would be the only character that he voiced that was not sped up by aging.
Right. Well,
I think I've said this enough. Everybody knows how I feel on this.
I was waiting for it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Aside from a cameo, I don't like it.
Okay.
I really, and as I look at everything that we're talking about here with, Ahsoka coming in and Boba Fett coming in and another character we're going to talk about in a few minutes. I want to focus on our characters in the show.
Right.
I don't want it to get too watered down with bringing in big characters from other parts of the story.
Okay, I could see that. I have a feeling that that's what we're going to kind of get with a lot of these characters that we're talking about here. I don't know that Boba Fett's going to have a prolonged presence. And if he did, it would have to have something to do with Mandalorian culture and, that sort of thing, I think. Because though it's been said he's no true Mandalorian, we also understand that to mean something other than what we thought it meant before. You know what I'm saying when it comes to the Mandalorian series. So, I don't know. I'm of the opinion I'll let it play out and see how it goes before I pass my judgment.
Right. And his character was very much teased
Yes.
in season 1. With the what was that assassin's name?
Fennec Shan.
Yeah, Fennec Shan. When she was presumed to be dead,
Right.
a character showed up with spurs.
Yes. And
I mean,
and she's also confirmed to be in season 2, so I believe confirmed.
yeah, I think she is confirmed to be in
Okay.
season 2.
Right. So there is something to that character that walked up on her laying there.
Yep. And I would assume that would be Boba Fett.
Right.
As much as I don't like it. But what other character wears spurs
Yeah. Not sure.
for all that horseback riding they got to do?
Yeah, do-back riding. What are you talking about? On Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
Do-back.
So all the stormtroopers had spurs.
I don't know. I'm making a joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't like it. I mean, I guess I know how I feel about it. Like I said, I was never a big enough Boba Fett fan to be that excited about this idea. But if they keep it small, they keep it non-intrusive.
That would be the key right there, I think. Non-intrusive. So long as Boba Fett doesn't come in and overshadow the whole story of the Mandalorian, okay. I think that's going to be the key. Because I got to be honest, I'm invested in, Din Djarin's story now. And where does he go from here with the child? That's what I'm looking for. What's the deal with Moff Gideon and the Darksaber? How Boba Fett's going to play into all that, I don't know. So,
Right, and I don't want to see all this, stop us from getting more on Cara Dune.
right.
When you keep adding stuff, something's going to get the cut.
Yeah.
And typically, it's not your title character.
Right.
So it would be your associated characters like Cara Dune,
Right.
like
Grief Karga.
yeah, Grief Karga.
I will say this though. I think with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, we don't have too much to worry about with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think these guys are clever enough to do things in a way that, it's going to satisfy everybody. And I hate to say it, but, this could almost, whatever they do, could almost put a exclamation point on Boba Fett's story if they did it. I'm just thinking about the armorer and the Mandalorians that are, left, and maybe they find Boba Fett and hey, you're no Mando. That way you're living, that is not the way, and take him out.
toot it ahead.
Right. It could happen. You never know, because that's I don't know. It'd just be a clever way for Dave and John to say, okay, everyone wants to know about Boba Fett. Okay, here you go. Okay, that's done. Move forward. I don't know.
Well, then everybody be like, "Oh, what about what happened in between? I bet it's epic."
Yeah. Well,
Like, no, he had 2 crappy deaths already. Like,
hey, so did Darth Maul.
yeah, but Darth Maul went down fighting. Boba Fett went out like a punk.
Hey, I know. It was an accident.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even get beat.
That's funny. I don't know. I have a feeling that however they pull it off, they're going to pull it off well. And I'm hoping, I do kind of hope that it kind of puts a pin in Boba Fett a little bit. And it's like, oh, okay, now we know how things went for him. The fact that he was eaten by a giant sand creature pit thing, wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Yeah. But those are the same people that are like, oh, Darth Maul can't come back. He was cut in two.
Yeah. Right.
See, you know what made the whole Sarlacc thing survivable in people's minds was while you're slowly digested over 1,000 years.
Right. Doesn't mean you're alive that whole time.
No. And I think that's what, like it didn't mean you were alive for 1,000 years.
Exactly.
Duh.
Right.
It's like, no, this thing just prolongs the pain. It keeps you alive while it kills you.
Yes.
It's like hitting someone with a bucket of water when you're torturing them. Like, hey, wake up.
Right.
So, the other character that is rumored to be returning, along with the original voice actor, Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
So, Katie Sackhoff is rumored to be playing a role in The Mandalorian Season 2, along with everybody else.
Yes. Mandalorian / Rebels reunion. Anyway, go ahead.
This is one that I like.
Okay.
Okay, because Bo-Katan has had several appearances in Star Wars, for one, that are non-intrusive to the story.
Okay.
You know, when she first shows up in Season 7 of the Clone Wars, even, it was kind of like a quick little hit.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's not one of those characters that I think is going to come in and steal the story.
Okay.
Via a ridiculous sense of nostalgia.
Okay, right. I got you. She also has some pertinence to the story, right? Because we've been introduced to the Darksaber in The Mandalorian.
And was one of our first questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's the Darksaber. The last person to have this saber was Bo-Katan.
Exactly. That's where I think she's key in this.
Now, The Mandalorian has already shown... This is where I'm kind of scared. Because The Mandalorian has already shown that it will use flashbacks.
Yes. Gotcha.
I kind of have a feeling that may result in a flashback that shows Bo-Katan's end.
Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, that might be the way it went. I like the character, but we're gonna, every story of every character has a beginning and an end. Hopefully it's going to be something good, not necessarily the end of her character, but
Right. I'm just saying that was a fear of mine when I heard that.
Okay. I could see it happening.
I could see it happening. But it is a character I really like, especially for this story that they've ventured down. She's going to want that saber back if she's still alive.
Right.
And showing up beside Ahsoka, that makes total sense as well.
Yes.
These two continuously have their paths cross.
Right. So I do got to say this, because there was a part of me that when we heard all this talk about live action Ahsoka, it was going to be Rosario Dawson. There was a part of me that was, man, I wish I actually could have played that character. But, it's going to be Rosario. Looks like she'll do a good job. Awesome. When I heard that Katie Sackhoff, who voiced the character, is going to be playing the character in live action, man, really? It's like, what? Man. Here we have...
There could be 100 reasons for this.
Yeah, I know. But there's just that little piece of me that's like, man, Ashley, you should be playing Ahsoka. But who knows?
I still think beyond a shadow of a doubt, Rosario's not going to voice Ahsoka.
Really?
I don't see her voice being Ahsoka.
So if that were the case, and Ashley came in and did the ADR and voiced that character, I would be more okay with it. I gotta say, because we all know what Ahsoka sounds like.
Yeah, through the entire arc of her character.
Yes, exactly, including the Rise of Skywalker. So,
which takes place after this.
Correct. So I guess that is the way it would work for me.
I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, Ashley voices Ahsoka.
Yeah, that would be good as far as I'm concerned. I would be okay with that. I guess I would have liked to have seen Ashley, pick up both lightsabers and take on the role, but if it doesn't work out that way, then okay,
hey man,
we'll see.
It's still only a rumor for Rosario Dawson too. I'm just saying.
It's true, but yeah, she's the one in interviews saying, I can't wait until it's confirmed.
Right.
So, okay.
I'm with you though. I would have loved to have seen Ashley do this. If it's not feasible, it's not feasible.
Right. Maybe she's too busy. Who knows? But we'll see. I'm sure that whatever we get in season 2, which is, when you think about it, it's in October. It's not that far away. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. So,
yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, so Dave is going to be directing an episode.
Yep.
So confirmed, Dave Filoni will direct at least one episode. Saying one episode, but
right. Yeah. So for season 2, now that we know we've got Dave, and we've got
else,
Rodriguez, and what's the guy's name? Peyton Reed. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 for sure. Those are
and
confirmed.
I think the other ones were all on for another one, right?
That I don't know. So you're talking
Taika and
Deborah Chow.
Yep.
Bryce Dallas Howard. Huh. Interesting.
This one's just going to have a different director every episode.
Well, that could be cool.
This is truly a
collaborative effort for sure.
Collaborative effort. I mean, I don't know for sure if the other ones were still on. I was under the impression they were.
Okay.
So I could be wrong. Happens all the time.
Well, the last I know that we heard about Deborah Chow is she was going to be working on Obi-Wan.
Right.
But that hasn't started yet either, so.
So still got a free schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would anticipate Dave directing the episode where Ahsoka and Bo-Katan show up.
Oh. If Dave doesn't direct the Ahsoka episode, oh my God, yeah. Then we're doing things wrong. That's all I got to say.
and we riot.
Yeah, and we riot. Absolutely. Yes.
No, I think if Ahsoka's showing up, I think they would be hard pressed to keep Dave away from that one.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, the chance to direct a character that, he helped create.
Yeah.
He's going to jump at that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was George's idea. George created a character.
Yep.
But Dave brought the character to life.
Yes, for sure.
So, yeah, I would think that they're going to be really struggling to keep him away from that. I'm just curious, man. I look at everything that we're getting. I kind of wonder who else is going to show up in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully. Okay. So I see what you're saying as far as if we keep bringing in people that we already know from the Star Wars universe into this show, it runs the risk of becoming the Love Boat of Star Wars, right? You don't want that to happen, where every week you have a new guest, guest starring so and so, right? But I think, if they do it right, we actually see some consequence with the storytelling, and it helps things move along the arc that we've begun.
Move along.
Then I think it'll work out just fine. Something that I do keep hearing is this is going to be a quote unquote crossover event for a live action Ahsoka series.
Now that made me cringe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why is that?
I just don't like the idea of crossover events.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of things do crossovers, and some do well, some don't.
Right.
I felt like the Arrowverse on CW, right?
Uh-huh.
Those shows did a good job of their crossovers. If you weren't aware that there was a crossover happening, then you watched an episode and went, what the hell was that? Because you got dropped in the middle of a story.
Okay.
Like if you only watch one of the series.
Yep.
Like primarily for most of it, I only watched Flash. Arrow was a little boring.
Gotcha.
So, but there came one of these crossover episodes where I watched the episode and it had this nice fancy, Crisis on Earth X or whatever. Opening. And I was like, that's weird. Then I watched it. It's like, wow, I'm in the middle of a story here.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, crossovers, I think it's a slippery slope.
Okay. Well, I guess so. Okay.
Especially as a launch pad.
Well, I guess that would be, that would be more of what it was, I guess. So I'm going to read, this is from Fandom Wire. I'm going to read a little bit from this article. They start off talking about Boba Fett, right? And then go on to say, but it turns out he's not the only one. We're excited to report that Disney Plus is also already in development for a new live action Star Wars series starring fan favorite Ahsoka Tano. Okay, we can also exclusively confirm that Star Wars Rebels favorites Sabine Wren, Bo-Katan, will also be appearing in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, as well as this new Ahsoka series. For fans who haven't yet watched The Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, Mandalorian warrior who wielded the Darksaber, ruled Mandalore, seen her trying to read
blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. So Sabine talks about who she is, and this new live action Ahsoka Tano spin-off series will take place after Star Wars Rebels and will feature Hera, a Twi'lek that was captain of the Ghost, along with Chopper and Zeb as they continue to search for Ezra, which was a major plot point in Rebels. We're also told it's incredibly possible for a live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn to make an appearance in some way.
All right, hit the bullshit button.
I love it. That's the. That's the.
So they're gonna make Rebel Season 6 in live action.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They're saying this with a lot of confidence. I can say that much. But
yeah, because that's the other way that they do reporting now. Instead of using just sources, I could just say, "Hey, Doug, what are you learning?"
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we're learning that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's out there on Fandom Wire, so credit where credit's due. I don't know. I gotta say, I don't know that I would be opposed to this, because I'm sure if it's done well. Yeah, so here's my other. I'm forgetting her name. There was somebody announced to head up a female-centric show for Disney Plus recently.
Leslie Headland.
Do you think this could be the project? Because you have Ahsoka, you have Sabine.
I think that is the
Bo-Katan.
launch point for their idea here.
Okay.
Because that was one of the first things I went to was an Ahsoka Tano series.
Right.
I believe the report that came out said that they'd be working on something separate from what's going on.
Okay.
So it'd be a separate story within the Star Wars universe. So I doubt they would use that terminology if they're going to launch it in The Mandalorian and it's going to take up where Dave left off in Rebels.
I guess, see, there's part of me that thinks, Disney is, they could do this in a smart way where they actually look at the response of the introduction of a character like Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. Because, they, like it or not, there's going to be a ton of internet fervor one way or the other.
Yes.
And then they can move forward or not with projects, seeing how the fans responded to a certain thing, and I don't necessarily want the company to, stick their finger in the wind and say, this is the way we're going to go with the story, because the fans want it this way. But if they see a huge, everyone loved Ahsoka in live action, wave head their way, maybe they roll with it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Again,
I don't know.
You have to have involvement from people like Dave Filoni, because he's been there for the entire lifespan of that character. And, moving forward, he's got to be there for that too,
I think the idea behind what they're saying there, it makes sense, right? You take these nuggets that have come up about this and that, piece them together. Yes, an Ahsoka series seems likely.
Yes.
But then I feel like the whole Rebels involvement, this, search for Ezra, all that is just running way off in another direction. Because if that were the case, I mean, that means we're probably going to see Sabine Wren.
Well, they actually said that in that article. I read that out loud a minute ago.
So we're going to see Sabine Wren in The Mandalorian?
Okay, let me go back. I just started.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If that were the case, and this was going to be the platform to launch for that story, then we would probably see Sabine Wren as well.
Let's see. We can also exclusively confirm that Star Wars Rebels favorites Sabine Wren and Bo-Katan will also be appearing in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, as well as in the new Ahsoka series. That's all via Fandom Wire. So,
well,
now, when
so we did say that the Leslie Headland series was going to be a female-centric. I mean, if you have Hera, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Sabine Wren.
Yeah, that's female-centric.
I'd say it is.
Yeah. Let's see. There's one thing here. Okay. So Dave Filoni did an interview with Deadline, and I do want to just give you, most of it is stuff we've heard already, stuff we've already talked about, and he's just kind of rehashing all that, through another source. But so I just want to give you his answer to this one quick question. Deadline asks, with Clone Wars over, do you think we'll see another season of Rebels? Dave Filoni. No, not really. Right off the bat, you're thinking, oh, wow, okay, so this isn't going to be live action Rebels. But it's not, he goes on. I was really happy with how that series turned out, and I feel like we got to tell a complete story there. It was one of the things that really drove me to thinking, well, it would be great to have a complete feeling like that for Clone Wars. So now to have both is really great. I think that there's always potential for stories that involve the characters from Rebels, which is maybe a better way to put it. They've all earned their place in the galaxy, so to speak. So I'm sure there's some more of them to do. Huh. Okay. I gotta be honest, I didn't read through that whole answer until just then. I just read the first, no, not really. So maybe there's something to this. I don't know.
Okay, so maybe there's some validity to this.
Yeah. But
I guess I kind of retract my BS button comment.
I don't know. Hey, yeah. Hey, this is Filoni we're talking about, right? This man talks in vagaries. That's
that's a light way to put it.
Yeah. But hey, you never know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I think we'll have to wait and see. Personally, I can't wait to see what we get. Even with Mandalorian season 2, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. Obviously, what was set up in season 1, what we think we know we're getting in season 2 with all the quote unquote cameos. I'm interested to see how it all is webbed together.
Yeah. Well, October can't get here soon enough. Then.
That's for sure.
And then I got to know who's playing Sabine Wren.
Yeah.
This is the next announcement we need.
Exactly.
We need to talk about this.
And
I don't know. We'll see. I hesitate because of how busy it seems it's getting.
Right.
Like I said, I don't want to take away from the characters that we've been introduced to in The Mandalorian.
I agree.
I don't want them to muddy it up too much.
Well, let me ask you this. I envision a scene like this. Ahsoka is in the episode full on. And long story short, defeats Moff Gideon, has the Darksaber, and we see the Ghost show up. Din Djarin with the child are there. Ahsoka takes the Darksaber, gives it to Bo-Katan. At the top of the ramp of the Ghost, we see Sabine, Zeb. No dialogue. They all get aboard the Ghost and fly off. Maybe that's their cameo.
Could be.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just imagining what it could be, but it could be a credited part, but that just sets it up for this other thing moving forward, the other series.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, if you have anything to add to all that craziness, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media. We're at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We will talk next week.